And the whole pro clubs thing, like I feel like do you know like it? I feel like a mate I forgot to sign up for war, and then I found out that my mate didn't really sign for it, and now I'm going to Crete, and he's at home fucking my
God,
missus.
yeah.
So that's what happened with pro clubs. But the worst part about it is it's gone all like Hurt Locker. Like I just want to be out there now. I don't want to be home.
It does that to you, though, doesn't it? That's what clubs does. You dip your toes in, and all of a sudden you're wanting to play like 4 or 5 nights a week.
Mate,
Yeah,
if you've ever done anything competitive to a high level of anything, like football, rugby, for me, rugby, whatever it might be, you have that like
the itch for it, isn't it?
fire.
Competitiveness. Yeah.
Yeah.
But also it's going to sound really stupid. The mental preparedness for what's about to come, and
Yeah.
like what's important. Like, nah, heads on. Got to be calm. Got to be this. Got to be that. Got to go out there. First 40 minutes, you don't lose. Second 40 minutes, you go out and you have those mental preparations. Or in my
100%.
case, like you might have had sports psychiatrists and psychologists and things like that have given you advice. And so you're going into pro clubs and like one game, and I was just like with you guys, and I said turn around, and I was just like, "This isn't good. This isn't
Yeah.
good. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. I need to go away and get better." And I just went away. And the funniest thing was after the Rush tournament, the lads were all talking about how many coins they had. And like, oh, I've got 90,000 coins. Oh, I've got 150,000 coins. And I was like, I've got 5. Which lets you know how many times I've gone to my fucking archetype and gone,
Yeah, 'cause
no,
I've seen the other
it's
day.
not good
Using those
enough.
fucking XP boosts.
I
Yeah.
can get more out of this.
Oh.
Like, do you know all I've been thinking about? This shit, this is so fucking bad. In times where I'm not thinking about how wonderful my life is with my beloved or playing the game or anything like that, I'm sat there thinking, do I really need 75 long passing on my boss? Or can I take that down and put it into strength and jumping?
Well,
And
mate,
it's how bad is that?
I think
How
you're
bad is that?
addicted. I think
Man
the
can't
first
man
stage is
can't
the
put the
mid.
pipe down. Man can't put the pipe down.
He's addicted.
He's turning into that Chris Rock joke, like the crackhead and the Christian can't live together. It's like she can't be going to church on Sunday, and he's like, "See you later," hitting the pipe. Like that's me with pro clubs at the moment. I'm getting permission from the missus.
Oh,
I was telling her I've been playing 4 nights a week, and she was just like, "So when's this going to be over?" And I was
yeah.
like,
You're starting.
Yeah.
"It's
You're
not."
It's
And
a
she
starting.
was like,
lifestyle.
"Yeah."
The start of
But then
something new, mate. You've
the
now
worst
found a new love.
the worst part was this. She found out when pro clubs finished. I told her, I said, "Yeah, well, pro clubs is normally finished by 10:15." She's like, "So why are you on till 2?" And I'm like, "Well, I have to do these drop-in games where I get
It's so happening.
where I get
It's
AXP,
happening.
and
Yeah.
I'm trying to be better. I'm trying to catch up."
The team
And
Quite
she's
game's
just
addictive.
like,
finished. Yeah, the team game's finished by 10:15. I'm then going to go and do my training.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For 4 hours.
literally, bro, literally, the number of times I came across in all those games. I came across one goalkeeper who was the best thing I'd ever seen in any game, and I fucking couldn't remember his name.
Is it Mash?
And I was like, "Do I message everybody and be like, was you that goalkeeper?" And they're like, "No," and I'm like, "Okay, fuck
Okay,
off."
that's good. Yeah.
Yeah, we're
No.
past that mark now. We're past the YouTube mark. I can swear. Okay, so first and foremost, welcome to the Foot Clinic. I am joined by our other host, Tom. Tom, how are you today?
Yeah, all good, mate. I've been waiting for this episode for months, it feels like. So I'm just going to go
It,
straight into it and let the boys have a go today.
no, it feels that way. It really does. And joining us today are two people who, to me, are kind of like, I don't know, I kind of like heroes. Like, so like,
Stop
I
it.
don't know if you guys know this, but like, I kind of plays with first team now, and these guys are like icons, legends. It's like walking into the training room You are a young academy prospect. You come in and you walk in and you've got like David Villa, you've got prime Didier Deschamps, if you remember how good he was. You have a prime everyman footballer who literally can play any position on the pitch and be the best player on the pitch. I'm going to let you three decide who's who on that because it makes
I thought
my
you were
job a
just
lot
describing
easier.
me.
I was in a way. So I want to welcome Griff and Darren to the podcast. Darren,
Lads.
how are you? And welcome to the show.
Yeah, I'm all good, man. Thank you for having me. As Tom says, I feel like this has been one it's been months in the making. We kind of spoke about it before, and I think me and Griff were both buzzing for it and waiting for it to happen. So, and thank you very much for the very nice intro. I think it's too much pressure on me and Griff. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, no pressure, man. No pressure. This is a conversation down the pub, and I can tell you've had a few of them. Joining
Um,
us as well is Griff. Griff, how are you, my friend? And what have you
Yeah,
been up to?
good, thank you. Yeah, all good. First, yeah, just a second what Darren said. What an intro. I don't know if we'll live up to that, but yeah, hopefully we can. But yeah, appreciate you having us both on, and it's long overdue. So yeah, it's good to be here and looking forward to it.
They're all so cool. Now, Tom, you have christened this. I don't know if I can even say this. This episode of season two, episode one, is known as. Please tell the people the name.
So this episode is bro clubs. I mean, this is kind of an inside joke that we've had. We've had crow clubs, we've had pro clubs. Now it's bro clubs. We've got all the main boys here from the boardroom of EAFC Friendzy, except from Ryan, of course, who's actually out drinking tonight. So have a few on us, Ryan. But I just wanted to kind of call this podcast and the boys together to just try and get everybody to understand that it's not just myself, yourself, Ryan. Shout out Gav. That's another thing we have to do every episode. Shout out Gav. It's kind of just
Cool, Gav.
yeah,
it's just an opportunity for everybody to get to know like the people who work really hard behind the scenes and the reason why we're so successful. These two boys here are just worth their weight in gold. So we're going to get to really know a lot about these boys tonight, their journey through the pro club scene, and I will be prodding them with questions, but I know that they're going to be absolutely fine because there's nothing that we haven't really spoken about before. I know, obviously, let's just go round. I haven't seen my club play this weekend. Liverpool are playing two of your boys' teams, United, tomorrow. So, first of all, we're going to absolutely spank you. And Darren, Darren, how did have Celtic played this weekend? What's going on?
no, we play tomorrow as well. We're midday. We played Dundee away, but it was made a bit sweeter because Rangers dropped points today at Ibrox. So it's always a nice
Quality.
weekend.
1-1, wasn't it? Falkirk or something like that?
2-2.
2-2.
Yeah,
Shit,
with Dundee United.
bloody
And they
hell.
scored late on as well to equalise, so get up there.
Amazing. They're still crappy with all that Russell Martin. But yeah, obviously we've got a Celtic fan here. We've got myself, a Liverpool fan. We've got you two boys, United fans. So you can both suck eggs together and just wallow in pity, I suppose. But, we really just wanted to go into this episode, with the main focus of pro clubs and kind of how we got to where we are today. So if we really go and strip it back right to the beginning, I just wanted to ask both of you guys, kind of, how did you get into FIFA? Did you play it from the very, very beginning? Were you a PES player? Were you like myself? I remember Doc and I had a conversation on a previous podcast. I got into football games from Super Mario Striker back on the GameCube, and that was my way in, and I've just been going since then. So have you guys always been FIFA? Have you been PES at all? What does it kind of look like? If I come to you first, Griff?
Yeah, so it's always been FIFA for me. My cousin played PES, and I hated going around because I didn't get on with PES very well. But yeah, I started FIFA back when Ronaldinho was the cover star, years and 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's a game that I've always played ever since. And no matter what game mode, whether it's career mode or your ultimate team when that came in, or pro clubs, or even just messing around in the arena, if you remember, years ago. That's my journey into FIFA, and yes, loved it ever since.
Yeah, and
I
same
think
to
that
you,
was
Daz?
07. 07, was it?
Ronaldinho,
Yeah.
yeah.
07, 08, I think it was, because Rooney and Ronaldinho had it for 2 years running.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
So what about yourself, Darren? Same to Griff, always FIFA or Pez?
To be fair, I started because when I was younger, I was always out playing football. So like I never really played computer games, and then I started playing probably around about the same time. It was 2000 FIFA 2004, and the only reason why I remember it is I never had like a PlayStation or an Xbox. I had a laptop, and I played FIFA 2004 on the laptop.
Oh, wow.
And it was just a blast from the past because I was thinking about this earlier, like scoring goals with Mark De Vries for Hearts and stuff, and you had to like hold
Mate.
arrows and everything. It was weird, but I then went to PES for a while
Yeah.
at the start, and to be fair, that's why I think I like pro clubs as much, is because with PES it was a lot more open and you had your be a pro sort of sense.
100%.
And then when I started playing FIFA properly from like 2006, 2007 onwards, that one is when it kind of took over for me.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And it's so incredible to see like where all of us have started in a different journey. I know, Doc, you've started. What was your first game we said before?
Cards.
Football cards.
Sabutio. It was as well. No, from the original. I played FIFA since it first came out. I went and got the David Platt Mega Drive. I swapped a Super Nintendo for a Mega Drive to get FIFA because you couldn't get FIFA on the Super Nintendo, and I was like, get rid of this Nintendo shit, bring me FIFA, and also NHL '95, which was lit back in the day. So yeah, I've been playing the game literally since it started. I've played
Wow.
PES as well, just because 07 on the Xbox was awful.
Yeah.
On the PlayStation 1, it was good, but on the Xbox, it was awful. So I played PES that year and then came back to FIFA. But
Yeah.
and yeah, I think we've all been on like, you two sound like you've been on like similar time journeys. And Tom, I know you've been. Well, see, yours is a different one because you got to do
Very
something
unique.
we never got to do. You got to play against your brother.
Yeah, and I think that's where the whole competitive nature stems from, because like I fucking hate losing to him, and he's the exact same. So much so
I thought you
that
were going to say you fucking hate
we
him.
just yeah, that's too bad. You probably know that already. No, but yeah, it's having that competitive nature, only being next door from each other. We'd always be playing FIFA or PES, and it would most often, whoever wins, it would start a punch up with the other one. Probably still happen today if we were in the same house. I'm not going to lie to you. That we're on the same team now instead of against each other. But in terms of teams, and speaking of being on the same team as each other, most recently, all four of us have now joined forces in the same team. Doc, obviously, you've joined us this season, and we're kind of experiencing different people within the club making different characters. Obviously, it's really, really hard to make your character actually look like yourself these days. So what a lot
Especially
of
this
people
one.
do, yeah, especially in this one, it's so
Yeah.
hard. Like, it would be nice if you did like a body scan or like a face scan and then send that into the game. Although
Yeah.
I'm sure they'd also absolutely rinse us and make us look like shit. So I can also see why they wouldn't want to do that. But I know we've got a lot of people. So Bertie, shout out to him, and Mitch. We've got King Charles playing left centre half for us. We've got Hasbulla playing left back for us. Is there ever a time in pro clubs across the years, because the customization's changing all the time? Have any of you ever had like either a very strange character, or have you ever looked to like recreate a player in real life? So I know that before, Darren, you've made like a Totti kind of build, haven't you?
Yeah, so Francesca Totti was the one last year, and it wasn't even for like, like obviously like I remember watching like Italian football and stuff when you had it on like the normal channels back in the day, but it wasn't even a case of that. It was more just because of the position I was playing. So I was like, I want to get someone who's like the type of player I am. And Totti last year was exactly what I was. Someone who can score and create goals. So doing the whole build on him was the whole reason for it. But it's so difficult. And even when you're following the videos, it's so much work to get put into it.
And that's the thing. They must put so much time into these videos, and like they churn them out so quickly. I'm thinking this is like a bloody full-time job. But like, we've also got like all the new customizations. I think you can even buy like the new Nike Phantom sort of stuff. We've got all like those new bandanas and things like this. And
yeah,
I was expecting Griff to come on here with like a mask and a headband on, just like this, with half his upper head, we can only see his eyes. But it's very, very strange. Griff? Have you ever like built around a character before, or are you always like very unique in your own way?
Of recent times, been quite unique, I guess, in the time that I've played for this team. But over the years, I've been in loads of different teams, and almost like you change your gamer tag or whatever to that name. So I've had like PK when I played centre back for a while, and Modric when I was a cam, and those sort of players seem to always be in the sort of Spanish leagues. I'm not really sure why, but yeah. But of recent times, it's just that mysterious look. I don't really know why. It's just I did it once and I kind of liked it, and it's just stuck ever since. So
Yeah, and it's intimidating with the amount of goals you score when you're running up to the camera. Someone with a bandana and a mask on. It is quite intimidating. You're getting in their head. So fair play to you, mate. Fair play to you.
I would want to snap you into a million fucking pieces. Like if that came past me, right, and then started doing some like honestly, man, I'd need a big pillow to throw my controller into. Like, I'm so rage baited. I'm like, he's taking the piss out of me.
No,
whether
but
it's in the game or out of the game, I'm a wind-up merchant through and through. So try and carry that in where I can.
Absolutely.
Man, he's got to get in their heads. He's got to get in their
This
heads.
is the thing, right? We talk about like trying to get a competitive edge over anyone, and even something like so small as that detail of like just even looking like you're ready to piss someone off and get in the heads of the centre halves. It works, and like I know that these two boys here who are playing up front for us now, like it fucking works. We've got to such high standards now from getting in people's heads, chasing people down. It's just phenomenal. So fair play to you lads for that. But I know Griff, you just mentioned that you've kind of had different characters depending on what teams you've played for. If we just kind of look at kind of a deep dive into like all of your experiences now. So this episode is about obviously yourself and Darren, Griff, and where your journey started, and obviously where you've been and now where you are now. How did that club's journey start? How did you get to go, right, okay, there's career mode, there's ultimate team, there's all of these different kickoffs, there's the arena. Why pro clubs is my question to both of you boys.
Yeah, mine's probably quite unique, but at the age of about 14, 15, I moved away from my hometown at the time where all my friends were. Still stayed at the same school, but it wasn't so close that you could, go out and come home when the street lights were on. I lived in the countryside, so I found myself at the weekends or after school just with a lot of time and all my friends out. I didn't really play Ultimate Team with anyone, so then I just found pro clubs. And just got talking to some people, and then before you knew it, felt like I had some friends on a club that I then just really enjoyed and loved being part of it. Ultimate Team is cool and everything, but when you come together as a group of boys, whether it's 4 of you, 10 of you, whatever it is, it just gives you that sort of community feel to it. So that's where it started, and it never ever stopped. So
you got the bug early on, and you've kept with it. Yeah, nice.
Do you mind me asking how old you are now, mate? Then
I am 27.
So that's 13 years, is it roughly?
Yeah, around that.
That's an
Me
insane
and Griff
journey.
have probably played each other years and years ago, and then we've just
probably.
Now.
Not realises I've crossed paths. That's mental, isn't
it?
That's
but
insane.
What about yourself, Darren? Do you have a similar kind of story to that, or?
So I to be honest, it was more like just playing with my friends. It was like FIFA would go on, we would go online, we would play clubs because that was the common thing. But there would only be like 3 or 4 of us, so it'd be mostly I would go any, and then they would just kind of pick their positions, and that would be how it was. But the first time I properly took it serious was weird because I was playing Modern Warfare 2, Call of Duty, and I got on someone on my team was from Scotland, was from Glasgow, and we got talking, and he was like, I'm going to jump on FIFA. And I was like, where are you going to go and play? And he was like, going to play clubs. And I was like, I play clubs? Yeah. Fancy if I join?
Yeah.
And I didn't realise it, but he had like 8, 9, 10 man clubs. So it was a big step up from what I was doing. And then that was where I got the bug. Because when you play 3, 4 man clubs, it's a mess around. You have fun. It is what it is. But again, it's the competitiveness in me where I'm like 8, 9 man clubs. everything means everything. You know what I mean? And that's how it all started for me. That's when I got the bug, and it was probably about the same age as what Griff said, when we were about 13, 14. You come in from
Darren,
school.
can I ask you a question then? So, like, you were talking about the difference between being a three, every man, all that, shouting at your mates for being offside, all that kind of stuff. Do you think the difference between playing with like three people and playing with 10 people, if you don't have a goalkeeper, let's say, is that when you make a mistake as an any player, you can switch to another player and you
Yeah.
can maybe cover that mistake like in Ultimate Team. But if you're everyone's got their own responsibility on a pitch, so you're not only dependent on what you can do, but you're dependent upon the other person not fucking up
Yeah.
as well, because that can destroy your whole game. So do you think for yourself and obviously for you, Griff, as well, like, do you think that's where part of the buzz comes from? Like, obviously in the position you're in now, it's like, if I don't score this goal, we're going to be 0-0 and we're not going to get the result we want. Do you still feel that way?
100% for me. That's why the start of this FIFA I've been in midfield for the majority of it. Like, I hated it last year because I wouldn't get as many chances because I dropped deeper and stuff in clubs. So when I do get the chances, especially if it's a tight game and I miss, I am my biggest critic. So when I miss, I'm like, I've let everybody down. The defence have played an absolute blinder. They have not conceded, and it's 0-0, and it should have been at least 1-0 because I missed my chance. And I come off the computer and I sit raging on the couch watching TV with my missus for it. Like, I'm in my head with it and everything, man. It's mental. But yeah.
I'm putting that one out to you, Griff. Like, you're very experienced. We're going to talk about some of that in a bit, but do you have that yourself, or do you find yourself more of a kind of like a goldfish approach to being a striker? Like, you just take your chances, and yeah, you're going to miss some, but you're also going to score some. Is that kind of your mentality?
I'd say a bit like Daz, maybe not on the same level, but I can be quite hard on myself. But it's very intense. Imagine you're in a game, it's in the 90th minute, 2 minutes added on, you've got that one chance, you're 0-0, you've got to score, and and you don't. It's tough, but yeah, it's just experience and learning the game mechanics, and learning that from early on in the game, because there's going to be new metas, there's going to be new ways to shoot. If there's a goalkeeper in the goal, there's so many different factors. To sound simple playing striker, but there can be quite a lot to it at times. So.
Nah, no. I've done the gamut, mate. I've done the gamut. I've got four different pros. I've got two centre backs. I got and a striker, and I've played every position. And striker is the hardest position to play in the game, 100%. That's why Tom plays CDM, because he's further back, so he can just claim the glory and just spread it around and just be like, I can't believe you lads at the back didn't pick up that run. Go on, man.
Mate, I do not know how both of you play up front. I mean, you've seen how much of a donkey I am up there, right? On Ultimate Team, I can put the ball in the net, but you put me on clubs up front, and it's like, what the fuck is going on here? I cannot deal with that intensity that you have.
No comment.
Yeah, I mean, we've all seen it, haven't we? We've all seen how shit I am. Yeah, so as Doc said, me being in CDM, I think that's exactly where I need to be. Just ping a ball up there, look at it and go, yeah, that's a bit of sexiness. And then just watch you lads just run after the ball, take someone on. Griff probably gets a penalty, and then he just tucks it away. Darren's probably taking that odd chance that he's got, and then he's scored a hat trick, but then misses one header and fucking tells himself off for about 4 hours afterwards while you're still practicing.
Have a good greet, mate. That's what
I do. Oh, mate. But, go on, Doc, go on.
Sorry, I was even joking with Tom. I said we were joking in text. I was sending him a WhatsApp about the show and stuff, and I was like, I know that Griff started off playing in this position, and Darren started off playing in this position at the back, and that they've turned into amazing strikers and amazing midfielders. And I just want you to know that in me, you have none of that.
Speak now. This is
limitations, isn't it? We all know the limitations.
That's it. Oh, big man like to destroy. That's about it. But go on, Tom. Go on. Sorry,
I know that obviously we've just been speaking about how intense things are. Something that we've kind of gone to dip our toes into is kind of looking at competitive play. We haven't quite got there yet. but I'm not sure if both of the lads have. I know I've spoken to Griff before. I might have butchered it and got the wrong club, but from a very young age, Griff, weren't you part of like a VFL VPG team?
Yeah, I think VFL both really. I was in both leagues as well because the days coincide on different days. But yeah, so Shrewsbury, which was a bit weird, the official esports team for Shrewsbury Town. I know it's only a lower league team, but back then there wasn't many teams to choose from. And yeah, I was in a team with someone called Aaron, who's now and still is the CEO of the whole of the VPG or VFL. I'm sorry if I butchered that, but yeah, he runs that, and now he's got maybe 10 leagues all across Europe. Might have even stretched into America. I don't know, but he's absolutely smashed it, and it just shows how something like that can go from a little thing you do with your friends to exploding into being top 25 or having a massive league or being a part of that. So yeah, it's amazing, really.
So being part of that, like it's obviously it's a competitive team, as you said. There wasn't a lot to choose from. What kind of expectations are there? Because I know it was many years ago, but was it kind of like, was there a full squad? Was there a case of sometimes being in the squad, sometimes being out? Was it a case of you already have a pro in this position, but you found yourself having to go elsewhere? What was the dynamics of that?
So that club played at the back, either centre back or right back, and in terms of starting or not, we had probably, I think it was 11 people starting and about 5 people that were waiting for the next game. You'd play maybe 3 games a night and you'd switch it up throughout the night. So bit like the sort of numbers that we're seeing now in the Discord, having 15, 16 people that are available for a night of clubs. Even back then, it was a lot smaller back then. So it was crazy, really. But yeah,
it's quite intense. You get that intensity from obviously a very early age, haven't you? And you saying centre back and right back as well. I mean, that just brings me back to where you started in our club at right back. And forgive me if I'm wrong, but didn't it start with an own goal or something?
A few of them, if I remember right.
Yeah, we're talk about that. 2, 3 maybe. But I found the net at one end, and I thought, let's give it a go on the other end, and then the rest was history.
Exactly that. I was just about to say the rest is history there, isn't it?
I love that.
So obviously you've had a real competitive edge in clubs from a very early stage in your so-called like FIFA career, as we call it. But Darren, is EAFC Friendzy the most competitive we've got, or is there any other experiences that maybe you've had, or any moments where you've gone, Jesus, this is a very serious thing?
So I never played in any leagues like that, but like I said not long ago about when I first started in pro clubs, like playing more competitive with the higher numbers, that team was like top 500 when I was playing for them. And I was like top 500 in CDM role and everything in the world.
Yeah.
And like a couple of my mates who I was playing with, they were like top in the top 100 in goalkeeper and all that at the time as well.
Yeah.
But nothing really compares to like the level of concentration, competitiveness, and everything else that we do for EFC Friendzy. Like last year specifically, we get into like 22 in the world at the end, I think it was, but the level like concentration and dedication we put in for all of that's where that came from, and that's probably I don't think I'll get much higher heights than this for me, to be honest, and I'm happy. And again, limitations, I know where I am, I'll happily be there. That's what it is.
You found your pocket, and hopefully you're not going to leave, and you can stay here with the rest of the club. But
100%.
Obviously, we're talking us three on behalf of, obviously we've played a season or two together, but we've got Doc has joined the ranks of the club now. And obviously, Doc, am I right in saying this is the first time you've been really competitive, or has there been a previous time for you as well?
Previous time, but not against people. When Be a Pro first came out, I remembered this. When Be a Pro first came out, I did do a few seasons as Wayne Rooney, but in the first person cam.
I got you.
Which was just so intense.
Is that your pro camera now, where you're literally running up the pitch?
It's the one where like the camera shakes as you run.
Oh Jesus Christ!
Yeah. But all the skill moves were dead easy because you were always facing forward. So the skill moves were just basic, so you could get away with stuff. But yeah, that was like 2009. So nothing like this. This is the first time I've ever played. I played 2-3 games doing something for Alexion, I played 2 as a goalkeeper, 1 as a defender. That was it, and that is not an experience. This is the first time I've ever come in and been like, "Oh, let's go and have some fun." And
Fun.
fun. It's weird what fun is to people, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because I imagine to some people, like coming out and playing and wanting to do stuff is fun. And playing for the Blitz team was like a lot of fun. You know, playing for Friendzy Blitz is fun, and it was great to do that. But then coming and playing with you guys, it really is like just sort of like being pulled through a vortex from like, haha, look at my guy, goofy, yeah, look at him, to so I've got this down and I've got this now. I'm sending you a picture. That lads, I think I've cracked the height weight balance. I think I've got this one. Like that's so I got to that point and now it was insane because the level is so high and the intensity, to say it's 100% more intense than just stepping in with a team of like good players is an understatement. So first game, I'm 10 yards off my man. Mitch is making love to his. Like he's licking his ear. He's oh, I tell you something, lad. I'm gonna get good inside you. Like like
As King Charles as well.
And I'm watching this, and I'm like, that's why I can't win a header. Like, and it was like, oh, so I need to be more intense, and then all of a sudden, it's like you're playing and you do a back pass and it goes into the net, and then you try and bring the goalkeeper into play because of the mistake, and then it goes into the net, and like you've just scored 2 own goals, and you're just like, this was fun. I got to experience it. I got to have a bit of fun.
You learn very quickly.
Yeah, and what I learned is that it's a mentality, and the skills can be picked up if you're in a position where maybe you know football well. Like I think so. The number of real world football advice that I use in my head when I'm playing pro clubs is insane. Like I've constantly got in my head Rio Ferdinand talking about Luis Suarez, which is like, don't dive in. If he beats you, he beats you, but don't give him an opportunity to beat you.
Yeah.
Like and pro clubs is so intense at the level that I'm still gonna say you guys play at, the level that you guys play at, that it's real world football on a pitch. And occasionally physics will get in the way of that, but it's as close as you're gonna get to playing like seriously, top. I mean, if you think about it, is there about what 400 Premier League players?
Yeah,
maximum.
Yeah.
There's probably what 1,600 professionals.
Yeah.
So if you think that you were just talking earlier about, oh, I was in the top 100 for CDMs, or I was playing for Shrewsbury, and I think was that around the time that, this is going to sound crazy, but was like Joe Hart involved in that for funding it?
I don't know if he one of the teams, but no, I'm not. I don't recall.
Right. Because I remember him being on TV for Shrewsbury. I know he's from there, but yeah, but the intensity is on such a high level that it makes you or breaks you. And if you're someone who is like loves that stuff, it's like, okay, I need to learn to get better, but I want this.
Yeah.
And then there's the communication aspect where it's like you've got to be able to take criticism and move on, because people are going to be critical of you, because nobody's got time to hold your hand. Nobody's got time to be like, hey.
Yeah.
Look, I know you dribbled it around in the box and then he took it off you and scored. Could you not do that again?
Give me
somebody up front that just goes, my first game when I scored a home goal, this was my welcome to the club moment. All I heard was, for fuck's sake! And I just went, Ooh.
Yeah,
Needless to...
because I
But
messaged
anyway,
you before saying, look, we are a serious club. Just give it your all. Obviously it's your first time and everything, but as long as you're seen to be trying and communicating, then that's all you can do. Obviously, great start. I mean, if anything is to go by, Griff scoring an own goal, and now look at him and how fucking insane he is.
You're not
Think now,
replacing me.
yeah. Maybe we all just need to start off with an own goal, and then you can all just get on and be blooming insane. But in terms of like,
did you have Mashy in that as well?
No comment.
shout out Mashy.
What I will say, just adding on to the end of what Doc said there, I think with the team now, like you said, it's different from playing with the Blitz team to playing with us. It is fun doing that, but for the people in the main team, if you will, or the first team, the fun aspect is the winning. I think that's what I think everyone has, that winning mentality, and that's why there's that intensity, is because no one wants to lose. You never come on to lose, I get that, but there's like, losing is not an option. I would take a draw before losing. I would fling the kitchen sink at it to get that last goal before losing. That's what it is. And I think that's where it comes from. When you get that last minute goal to win or the last minute goal to draw, that's where the fun comes from it.
Yeah,
The
absolutely.
fun.
And you're shouting Griff out your window at, God knows what time at night.
I still cannot look my neighbour in the eyes. I cannot do it. I cannot do it. So thank God they leave for work at 5 a.m. because I swear to God. But in terms of like looking at obviously Darren and Griff now, you've mentioned that you both play up front this year. And I'm just going to go through to both of you individually now. So I don't mind who starts, but just like, if you had any advice for like a novice player or someone who's looking to get into clubs, kind of just walk me through how important is it by like maybe looking up videos or trying things out for yourself. Is there any advice that you'd give to someone, for this specific game? Are we looking more as a target man? Are we looking more as an agile striker? Are we looking for lots and lots of pace, play styles? What kind of things should we have as a striker build? And also, if I ask that to you, Griff, and then Darren, if I come to you maybe for some midfielder stuff, I know you're up front at the moment, but obviously you've done a lot of work in midfield, and then Doc as well from yourself as a defensive point of view, so then we can kind of go across everyone. I would ask a goalkeeper, but we know how broken they are. So I don't mind who starts, whoever, and then we'll go through that.
Probably wouldn't catch the question anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what kind of advice
this
would you
on
have?
video now. This mic's white. I swear by the end, in a few months, this pod is going to be covered in coffee. I don't know why I wouldn't clean it. But yeah.
Go on then. I'll start with Griff, because there's something there that I don't quite get. I mean, I've played pro clubs with you now for 2 years, odd Griff, or at least two FC cycles now, and there's still times where like you bail us out in games where you have no right to do what you do, and you find an angle and you can somehow bend it, whip it in. Or even from our own half, you're tracking back at left back, and then 5 seconds later the ball's in the net and you're celebrating to the camera, fucking giving him one of them. I do not get how you'd have that in you, because I tried playing striker for a few games as a muck around, and it's no joke. Everybody goes, when they go play drop-ins, and they go, "Oh, I can go up front. I want to score a goal or two." And I've said this to whoever. I said, obviously, Griff, you are the most, efficient striker I feel like I've ever seen on clubs, whether that's even VPG, VFL. I haven't seen a striker with your kind of instinct. So is that a case of no worries, mate. Is that a case of learning your trade through different games and like judging what works for each game? So some games it's like a crazy Trivella, some games it's a finesse, or is there always like a kind of build that you go to and go, right, this works most years, so I'm going to go with this?
Yeah, I'd say being 6 foot tall seems to have worked for me for God knows how long. Depends on what the position is, but certainly striker. Agility is key, pace to make those runs through. Finishing is a given. I think those elements are, at least a basic to start on. And you mentioned for people starting out, I'd say just learn the basics of any position. Whether you're good at finishing, maybe you're a striker. If you're good at defending on Ultimate Team or whatever you play, maybe you're a defender. But it's just about nailing those basics, being consistent, and just giving it a go.
Yeah.
And in terms of I love cutting in and finessing. I'd say a finesse playstyle plus is always key for me. I did used to have rapid plus, but the archetypes now don't really allow it with which I do kind of miss. But yeah, having quick step, rapid, those quick off the mark, ready to go, and when you're on the ball, even quicker against defenders. Those are the key basics, I think, for me, as a striker. And finishing, I'm not like we have had strikers in the past, 40, who loves a low driven. I'm not a massive fan of low drivens. Either shooting across goal or finessing across goal, depending on the angle. Yeah, I think those are my key areas and the basics that you just need to know, and then you can go and do all the cool stuff.
Yeah, so like obviously you've spoken about different play styles, different heights and builds, and what kind of play styles to focus on, and you've mentioned archetypes as well. But do you feel like, because obviously you've been playing striker for so long, can you teach someone to have a striker's instinct, or is it a thing where you've either got it or you haven't?
Yeah, I think it's probably you either have it or you don't to a certain extent, and of course it's how good they are at FIFA, or whoever it is you are at FIFA. I think it's definitely an instinct thing to take it from that sort of casual amateur to a bit more of a height. But of course, you can learn on FIFA. You can learn the mechanics. You can make yourself a lot better without having that instinct. I guess it depends on the kind of player you are and who you're playing with, I guess.
100%. And then obviously, like in our formation and setup we've got at the minute, you're very much a different striker to the way that Darren is as a striker. Darren's more of like, as you said, Darren, earlier, you kind of drop back in the sense you're like a false nine, even though you're a striker build. So what you've both been able to show us this year and last year as well is that although that you're both strikers, there are many different ways that you can play that. Darren, what's it like linking up with the likes of a Ryan and a Cam, Griff as a striker, and obviously those around you? What is that like as a striker?
Do you know, I think this is why me and Griff obviously worked really well as a strikers, because early on it was a case of, obviously you get people go, well, I'm left striker, I'll stay left side of the park, you stay right side of the park, we don't get in each other's way. I don't know how many times me and Griff swap over and interchange, or I'll go long and he goes short, or whatever it is, and that's why it works so well. And I think that's why a lot of teams don't know how to deal with us. But like you say, with the style I'd mostly play is drop them in and drop them off the striker and linking up with Ryan, or like centre mids that push wide, or whatever the case may be. It just draws people out. And I think that's what makes it work so well. And to be fair, I think this FIFA allows more of that than it did last FIFA, because this one I think you can focus more on like the hold up play. I think it's Enforcer or something's a play style.
Yeah.
You can put that on and can sort of strongly hold off someone and roll the ball to the side and do that sort of thing. So I think it works a lot better, this one as well.
Yeah, 100%.
Highly underrated playstyle, that one.
Yeah.
I've used it. I've not used the plus, but I've used it on Charbon Con.
Yeah, the Korean striker.
Yeah, and he's not very strong, and it's just that split second roll that you can get on people. That's just, how did he do that? Yeah. And I was actually going to ask you about the Enforcer, that one, because when I saw it was for R9, I was like, did they watch this guy play? I can't believe he has that. But then I thought about the way that he was able to just roll off people and get away, and I guess is it for you like a shield and then accelerate moment that you use it for, or do you use it to hold up and then bring people in?
The second option of the holding up, I think more so as well, because when you are playing more competitive and you're playing against the top teams, everyone drops to defend in our team. So when you do get the ball forward, your options are you either hold it up or you try and take on the rest of that defense ahead of you yourself, and that's not going to always work. So holding it up, letting the team get forward, maybe dribbling it into a position and holding it up and laying it off to someone, I think works a lot better than try to just run at them sometimes. And I think that's why I like it most, and that's the way I sort of set up compared to Griff being the more agile striker out of both of us.
And just a second question, just very quickly. So in terms of, like you say, you have you cross over from each other, and I know exactly what you're talking about. What I wanted to ask you was, is that a communication thing, or is that just something you've always done, where it's like if you've spotted one, the other one moves, Like almost like you've read each other's as much as you're reading the game, you're reading each other.
Yeah,
So there's an element of telepathy. We definitely. I feel like sometimes Darren knows my runs before even I know them, and vice versa. And it's just so long of playing together. I say so long, couple of FIFAs, but that's long enough to know someone quite well. And
700 games.
yeah, exactly. You starts to click after a while. So it's just instinct. A lot of repetition of the same two people playing together. Yeah, it's taken a while, but we got there.
That's fantastic. That's just something I really wanted to know.
100%. And just building on that now, we've spoken about the enforcer play style. We've spoken about the way that you two play up front as well, obviously linking up with Ryan. And we found ourselves early on in this game only being able to access up to level 50 at the minute. And with the new patch that's coming, they haven't given a number, but they have stated that they are going to be increasing that max level on there. So again, do you feel like there's two questions here? Do you feel like our playstyle is going to slightly change as we develop, going up to say like a 70 or a 75? Because obviously there's a lot more attribute points. So how does that affect the way that you're going to put those points into your striker now? Are you going to look to maybe carry on with the same kind of method that you've got, or maybe build on the dribbling or the physicality side of it? So that goes to all three of you guys. What are you going to be looking to spend all your new attribute points on when that new patch drops?
So if it's 30 levels, it's roughly 900 points, right?
Yes, yeah.
That we'll get.
Yeah, roughly.
Right. So not a lot we can do with that. I don't think
Exactly.
in
You've got to make
terms
your
of
count.
being able to push beyond. So for those who don't know, with the archetypes, you have specializations. Specializations allow you to unlock play styles. To get certain specializations, in my opinion, particularly from defender, there's no way you can get one of them at the beginning without just having the worst defender possible, which is the Capitano one where you get blood plus. 900 sounds like a lot. It might unlock that because that's 12 levels from 80 to 92, 80 to 90. So that's a lot of points. That's me talking without experience. As lads who've had experience of it, Tom, I'm actually going to put this at you. As somebody who has experience of the levels going up, do you feel as a midfielder this is like essential for you right now in terms of being able to play the way you want?
Yeah, so the first thing I did, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, boys, we had level 100 last year to start, and then it went up to 125. Is that right?
150 or 125.
It was one of those, wasn't it? We got like an extra 20, 30, 40, 50 levels. But the main thing that I kind of worked on with those points is I was kind of happy with where my player was already in terms of being able to execute passes or drive the ball. From the CDM role, there's nothing crazy that you've got to do other than just be there for the tackle and then recycle the play very quickly. The way I play, as the boys are very aware of, I do like a little pinged pass over the top. So when I get those extra points, that's something I want to work on. Set pieces are really hard this year in terms of getting a free kick or a corner, unless you're Ryan, not brother Ryan, the other Ryan, because he just seems to have a wand of a left foot and he can do whatever he wants. So fair play to him. But the main thing I'm going to be working on is physicality, because I found that when we were in those really intense games last year, the ones where it was 0-0 or we've got a 1-0 lead, like in the last couple of minutes, you have to win those 50-50 battles to be able to get the ball, win possession back, hold up and clear. So that would be my advice to a lot of people who are starting out as well. If you've maxed out a level 50, maybe depending on where you are on the pitch, focus on that physicality, because that really does make a massive, massive difference. I kind of compare it to Ultimate Team. Like when you've got Team of the Year, then you've got Team of the Season. The big factors that the changes there is like everybody's physicality is like 90 plus. Everyone's got 99 stamina, 95 strength, jumping, all of that sort of stuff. And it really does make a difference in winning those 50-50 duels. So that is exactly what I'll be doing. And then also putting a bit more on passing just to make sure that the team ticks over. My role's pretty easy in the sense of I just have to win the ball and pass it to Ryan. Darren, Griff, all those centre mids. It doesn't feel easy at the time, but when I look back and go, it's a pretty simplistic job. So I'm just happy where I am with the team. But in terms of where you guys are, what are we looking at? If I start with you, Darren, as a striker, that kind of false nine, what would you be looking to put your points into?
So, first of all, obviously you talk about the levels going up. I don't think it will go up that much. I know we were talking about this before. I think some of you mentioned 50, and obviously you said 30. I think because of how early the games came out and how early they're doing this, I think they're going to make it more like a season thing. So right now, I think they'll make it like 25 levels. Then it'll take us till maybe about December time. They might then look to increase it either at the end of season 2 coming out, end of that finishing to season 3, or the end of season 3, they'll up it to 100. And then as it goes into sort of team of the season sort of time for FIFA, that will then, or FC, whatever you want to call it, they'll then up it again above 100. But for me, right now, the points that I'm going to focus on, especially for my striker build, is my dribbling and my balance and my agility. Because I just feel like I'm towing a truck sometimes when I'm trying to run. It's murder. But I've focused a lot of my build on one kind of acceleration and the finish, but also the passing and the vision. I think like my passing and vision are in their 80s. So because of the type of striker that obviously I am, that works for me. Everyone's going to be different, obviously, but for the role I play, that's probably the best. And when I'm going to have to focus on is the dribbling and the balance stuff.
100%. And every stat matters in those small scenarios where a half turn can change the whole result of a game. I mean, we've already spoken earlier on how Griff has that ability to just turn a defender from the halfway line and just blitz past them. So he's kind of got that on wraps already. Griff, what are you going to be looking to work on?
I feel like EA or the game on FC, they've allowed for me to build a spine of what I want, but that's sort of as far as I've got. So I've got the basics there of everything that I do want. I just need that additional, leveling up to unlock those points and just put more into it. But it'll be the same things I mentioned, agility, sprint speed, acceleration, finishing. Those are the key areas for me. Agile can turn a defender, got the speed, and then you can finish. So it's very, very simple. But yeah, that's how I feel. And I touching on what Darren said about how they might spread it out. Part of me feels that they will do that because it probably makes sense from EA's perspective. But yeah, it's not as fun for me to have to wait that long. So I'd like to just start with 150 levels. There we go. But of course, I understand that it's not always going to go your way. So yeah.
Well, yeah, and we got to look at it this way as well. Doc, what are your thoughts on what I'm about to say in terms of we're starting to see monetization in the game now? So from EA's perspective, would it make sense to release levels to 150 now, given that people are, we spend the club coins, obviously, but a lot of people can spend their real money on the game now. So by filtering it through, like Darren has said, through these seasons, it does stagnate that growth almost. And would that then, Doc, kind of get people to... It prolongs the system of them going, right, okay, if we got to wait until December, then they'll release another 10 levels. And because I've waited so long, I don't want to grind. I just want to get those 10 levels now. So I'm going to spend that instant bonuses that we can get. What are your thoughts on that?
On Ultimate Team, they released these things called provision packs.
Mm-hmm.
And what they did was they limited the number of provision packs that you could have. And people can't get enough of them. In pro clubs, they've made it so that there is a limit on the amount of XP you can add and bonus. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, if they gave me that 6.5 times and I could just be like, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I've put points on to buy that.
Yeah.
So I would be buying that every 5 games to get my guy to where I want it to be. So I kind of feel like that they haven't really clicked on to how many archetypes people may take on in order to find the player that suits them best. And because of that, if they did, people would be more inclined to spend more money in the pro club shop because that would enable them to accelerate things, which comes into a system. I'm turning this question into a question, but it was one I wanted to ask all three of you. With you were talking about level 100, level 150. Let's assume right now we are all limited in areas of our game because our pros don't have the points. But let's assume that we've reached a point where we can put the points into the areas that our pro is failing on, and it won't affect other parts of the game. Two-part question. One, is that going to change the size, weight, and physicality of your pro as you are willing to take on losses to agility, balance, etc., because you've increased it to 94? So losing two isn't going to make a difference. And secondly, because you'll be at a point where you can have whatever stats you want, do you think you will change archetype to be more playstyle orientated than stats orientated? And I'll put that one first to Darren, because I think that as somebody who obviously you're playing different roles a lot, that's probably an area that you would have the most experience in.
Yeah, I think if you have all the stats that you can get, I think the archetype, or whatever you want to call it, archetype will change. I think, no doubt, in this run of pro clubs this year, I think, Griff, you'll probably change your archetype somewhere along the line, no doubt. I know I'll definitely change it. To be fair, I've already been toying with the idea in my head to go on a target man. Just thinking is something different from what we have in the club, as being that type, but also being that sort of target man where you can play the ball off him and he can play the ball through and sacrifice some of the things of the game for it. But I do think that with the way it goes, I don't think they will release all of that sort of stat wise, and I can get why they're doing it in the stages, like I said, because on the season pass right now, you have there's the AXP boosts and stuff, but it's only on the premium side. So if you get 150 levels or 100 levels, you can spend all your money you want, spend all the FC points, and go and get all those boosts. But then the season pass plus isn't going to be as meaningful because those aren't in it. So it's something they can give to clubs as well as Ultimate Team, because in Ultimate Team you obviously get the packs and stuff for it as well on the season pass. But this is the one sort of thing where they can kick it back and slow the curve for Ultimate Team and also give clubs something while still taking your money without you really kind of clocking on that they're actually doing it and you're just paying because you want something else. So I think that's the difference between it. But yeah, I think if you have the stats, I think the next thing you're going to do is just make sure you can get the correct playstyle pluses, because they is what basically makes you a pro. As much as you can have all of the ball knowledge and how to do it, if you've not got finesse shot plus, you're not putting that ball in the top corner. That's just the way the game is.
And to put my evil corporation hat on and rob your gran, do you think that pro clubs is an under monetized area of FC in terms of like the amount of money that they could get out of it? Now, the reason I'm saying that is that you can if you drop on a Friday night, there's 500,000 active pro clubs players.
Yeah.
Like, if you can turn 1% of that into a paying audience, that's 5,000 people spending real money every day.
Yeah.
Do you think that they have underestimated it in the past and now are starting to understand that there's more value in the game beyond Ultimate Team? Or do you think that this is more kind of them tripping over themselves and just being like, oh, they can't swap points anymore, we need to give them a way to do it, and they'll probably just use club coins, but we'll only charge them 200 points for this 6.5 times XP. Nobody's going to buy it. What do you feel about that?
I feel like 100%. They've now realised how good Pro Clubs is and how loved Pro Clubs is, but they're going, right, how can we take the money from that? They take the money from everyone for FC, for Ultimate Team, but Pro Clubs, especially last year, I think probably because of Angry Ginge and stuff in the streams that he was doing on it all, but it shed a new light for the more casual viewing audience of it all. Rather than the leagues and the competitive side of it, they were making it a whole different thing. And I think when they realised the level of what people would go to play pro clubs is when they seen, well, wait, there's money in this. How can we make more money from them? And that's where obviously you've seen with you can buy the points to reset your archetype. You can buy with points your what's called the boosts and the AXP boost and the XP boost and all of that. So there will be a time where, and I genuinely think it will probably happen this FIFA run, that you'll end up being able to buy like Adidas Predator boots and stuff like that with your actual money because they'll do something just to make as much as they can from it.
Yeah, yeah. Or you could see boots being launched in pro clubs exclusively, which people would love. Which people would love. Tom.
Yeah, and just going on that kind of customization, it's even in the sense of like they've changed the way that you can customize your club now. You know, you've got so many different ways that you can. I know that us boys, you know, I've shared my screen on PlayStation and we've gone, right, boys, tonight before we start, we're coming on early. Let's sort out the kits. Let's sort out the badge. Let's kind of build this identity, and it all adds up. So again, I totally agree with what you boys have said. It is about like they've seen that there's potential in this game mode now, so let's try and, you know, milk that cow almost and get as much money as we can. And just going on to kind of like that extra kind of customization that you can have, you know, we've alluded to boots. Maybe they can do it for stadiums. I would absolutely love if we could all sit together and like organize and look at a stadium, have our own tifos of our badges and like trophies that we've potentially won. There's so much potential for them to do, but you know, baby steps. You know, pro clubs is very much something that they have neglected over the years. So I'm just happy that they are giving it a bit more TLC. But in terms
Yeah.
of looking at a club, looking at our club, EFC Friendzy Club, you know, just to you boys, you know, you've all joined the club over either this year or last year. You've really helped to build that identity as a club. And just what does it mean to be part of a club like this? Is there any club that you've been part of that is like this? How does this differ to anything that you've gone through? You know, I've got Griff here, who I've never had a striker that I know that I could give a half-assed ball up front, and I've got this incredible striker that will somehow get on the end of it, dribble round everyone, take the piss, score, run to the camera, and just absolutely piss someone off. You know, you've even got an incentive that we joke about how many sausage rolls from Greg's I'm going to be sending you, or Ferrero Rochers. You know, what does it mean to be part of a club like this? So, Griff, if you don't mind, I'll start with you. How does this club differ to anything you've done before?
Yeah, it's definitely unique. I think there's a few core values in this club where no egos; those are left at the door before you come on. You know, it doesn't matter who you are or what you've done or how good you are. There's absolutely no ego, and that's something that I have experienced a lot in the past with the competitive leagues. There's all sorts of, you know, different people, different personalities, but you're not really connected on a, yeah, almost like a, yeah, like we are, yeah, friends basis. You know, it's not that kind of level. And I've played in clubs where barely anyone speaks English, so that's like Brolly experience that I've gone through before as well. So yeah, it's definitely unique, and it feels like a proper community friend feel to it, and it's a, yeah, I like it. I play football in, you know, in the week, 5-a-side or 6-a-side, and you know, for that half an hour or for that hour that you're on clubs or wherever it is, you completely forget about everything else, and it's nice to do it with a group of lads on the same, you know, wavelength, and no matter what you've got going on in your life, it's, you know, you can just crack on and play some clubs with the lads. So yeah, it's unique and I absolutely love it.
Yeah, nice one. It's really nice to hear, you know, your experience of it as well. And Darren, I'm going to chuck it your way, and then obviously Jay, to you as well, mate. You just talk through all of your experience about our club. This is our club.
Oh, 100%. So when I first joined the Discord, I joined it for Ultimate Team tips and guides and how we get better at that. And I seen on the channel list it said pro clubs, and I was like, lads, you
There's
just want to play
potential.
pro clubs. And that is how it started, I think, all those times ago. And honestly, that took over. I stopped caring about Ultimate Team after a couple of months, and it was just okay. Pro clubs is a thing, and as you said, Griff, there's core values of what we expect. You do that, everything else will be okay. And the ego's at the door. That is the first and foremost. But like a lot of us, we don't come on to lose. So if you come on and you don't take the criticism, the constructive criticism at that most of the time, but if you don't take that and you keep doing the same stuff, then we're going to lose our shit. And that's where it comes from, because we don't come on to lose. And for me, as I said, the winning part is the fun part for me. That's the way I am. So when I've had a shitty day at work or whatever it is, and I come on and I start playing you boys and everything clicks, honestly, for that hour and a half, fucking best day ever. Even though I've just had a stinker for the last 12 hours, this hour and a half just made up for it. And that's what it is. It's kind of bringing, like the Discord is, it's a community, it's a friendship group, and more so for the pro clubs, especially for the ones that's in the boardroom as well, because we're the ones that's kind of stuck at it the most and gave it the most effort, because I think the level of care more. I'm not saying people don't care, but I think we just put in that extra added little bit to it all. So yeah.
100%. And obviously, Doc, as someone, we have said you've joined the club this season. What are your thoughts on, because obviously you're in a unique position now where I don't know how common knowledge it is, but obviously you're helping out with our partner club, Friendzy Blitz, as well now.
Yeah.
And you've been able to dip your toes into kind of both of those at the moment. So obviously there is going to be some similarities. There's going to be a lot of differences because of the experience in both of the clubs. But one of the things that we will speak about in the EAFC Friendzy is the kind of creating identity. How important is that process? Because obviously you've had a feel of an identity of a top 22 in the world club. How are you working with those in the Friendzy Blitz now to kind of relay that kind of process almost of having an identity?
Well, first and foremost, let's talk about Gav. Thrust into a situation, not a natural leader, not someone you would say is comfortable telling people bad news, not someone who is comfortable not being liked by everyone all the time. So he has had to, from nothing, essentially maintain a club through a very difficult period where there was early success, and because of how things were going, the club was kind of, I'm going to be honest with you, probably a game away from shutting down.
It stagnated, yeah.
After the results. Gav came in, he made a decision. They decided to rebuild the club, and the first thing they did was give that club an identity. It was go out there. We're gonna play 4-1-2-1-2. We're gonna play with heart. And I think that early on, there's less ego in the team. And then as the team progresses, if you're someone who has ego, you maybe try too much on the ball. And when you're in a team where maybe there's more AI, maybe you are not mentally, if not certainly not verbally, but mentally not comfortable passing the ball to somebody, you're going to try too much. And when you try too much, you fail. When you fail, you get frustrated. When you're frustrated, you take more chances. So, for example, I would be running across the pitch to cover for somebody, and if that pass was made back inside, I look a knob because I'm trying to cover for people who aren't doing their job, or I'm covering for AI.
Yeah.
So to see Gav galvanize a team to the point where he could have named a bench the other night, and then to take that team freshly, give it an identity, give it some balls, give it some leadership. He is really becoming his own man in the server, his own king of his own land in a way, because it's his team, it's his leadership, it's his tactics, even but he's open to conversation, and he is trying to instill in that team the mentality that he's learned from playing with you guys. So that is a a building process. Like it's like a baby bird almost. Like at the moment, we're throwing up into its mouth to help it live. But it is going to fly, and when it does, it's going to be fucking epic. And that's how I feel about that team. The 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 mentality shift is that, and this was something I was going to say when you said there's no ego. There is no ego. Ego is left at the door, but pride is picked up. And there's pride in your performance in that team. It's when you play in that team, you will at some point be responsible for that team winning.
Yeah.
Whether or not your rating says so or not, whether that's you made a block in the box or you made a key pass that led to a simple cutback goal, or you started offside and were smart enough to wait for the defence to catch up and then just dart between and score a goal after being seen. Or you've come back and covered Bertie in defence because he's pushed on and they've countered. And there's moments, and with the Blitz team, it's more along the lines of like we're learning the game together. And in that team, it's know your shit or fuck off. And it's not rude. It's not rude. It's not rude. It's I was going to say this, but it sounds like I'm talking about one person. There's just enough wanker mentality in the club that there's egos in places you want them to be. There's stoicism in places that you want him to be. So Mitch is very stoic, Bertie's fiery, emotional, Tom's very stoic. He's trying to keep things going until the last 20 minutes. And if we're up, he's desperate to score. Darren's very calm.
Calm? Did you say calm?
Yeah. I was being that was sarcasm.
I'll pick that up there, sorry.
And I think that's the difference is that the level of intensity is it's honestly it really is like comparing professional to amateur. And I played as close to professional rugby and know what it's like, and it's the same mentality. And I don't know how you feel about that, Griff.
Yeah, I just wanted to touch on, firstly, great job that Gav's done so far. I think he's really found his feet, found his own with doing something like that. And I think the difference between our team and the Blitz team is, I mentioned it the other day, but we started off as 5-6 people, striker, midfielder. We're just having a bit of a laugh, but then starting to get a bit better, mastering that small amount of positions. And then maybe slowly bringing in the defender or the left back or the right or whatever it might be. That's how it all started. Whereas you're trying to bring, at times, 15 people all together, all in every single position, all at the same time. A lot of people haven't played clubs before, haven't played for 5 years, or played it once and didn't really like it. It's trying to get all those people together and build up from literally the ground upwards. And it's all about bringing the mentality up and positivity. And I think bringing in someone like Gav, who, for the most part, is very positive and is the perfect man for that role, creating a new club identity, starting from the Division 5 and working back up again. It just gave that reset that I think that was really, really needed. And it was about a game or so away from ending it all, I think, the other night. But it's like night and day to how it is. But I don't know if you've got something to say on that, Tom.
Yeah, just furthering on from what you've said there is obviously he's done a really good job, and the reset, as we've all agreed, is exactly what they needed before potentially closing. Obviously, Gav's taken over in circumstances that none of us really saw happening going into this game, but he's taken it in his stride, so fair play to him. But I think one of the main things that obviously we know from working alongside Gav, and that we've also got in our team, is building a boardroom. I feel like last year, again, speaking on experience of us in the first team, as we call it, EAFC Friendzy, we kind of hit a stumbling block of like 500th in the world or 400th. And we always kept saying, right, it would be nice to hit 250. And then one evening we came off. I think everybody came off, and it was only Griff, Darren, myself, and Ryan. We were still online. And we thought, do you know what? We were really we'd won our matches, but it wasn't enough. We won the games, but we knew that we can push on, and we wanted to dedicate that time of going, how are we going to break this duck? We're winning, but we're not gaining rank. And that is something that we looked at. We either went, right, there was a time where we can start to play VFL, VPG against these teams, and we did have friendlies, or do we go around this other path and do we go chase rank for globalization rank? We went with that, the globalization rank, and we thought, right, let's build a boardroom, because there is a lot of work that people don't see that goes into clubs, which I'm sure you're all aware of now, especially obviously Darren and Griff. We speak every day in there, even on days where we're not scheduled to play for 3 or 4 days. And obviously Doc, yourself now working with Gav and Steve as well, you can see all of those mini conversations that actually add up, and it's so good to see when you get that win where before you knew you wouldn't have got that, a couple of weeks ago, to be able to see that growth in others, but also know that it's kind of all from your hard work that you've put into it, and it is kind of your baby in a sense. I hope all of you agree. Like the club means more. It's more than just a club. It's working for each other, isn't it?
100%.
You lose a ball and you're like, I need to win this back, not for myself, but I need to win it back for the boys. I need to put this chance away, like Griff and Darren do, because it's not just for me; it's for the boys. Darren said earlier, like the defense are doing a really good job. I owe it to them to go and score a goal. And there is that kind of added pressure. And that's kind of my a bit of advice to anyone starting in clubs. And obviously you're in that position now, Doc, where you've now joined a boardroom with Gav and Steve. Any club that is starting out, have a few people who you trust and can fully depend on. Not saying that we don't depend on others, because you create captains within that side, Mitch, Bertie, to name a few. But just get that core group of people that you can trust and talk to honestly. Because there's times where me, Griff, Darren, and Ryan, who's also in the boardroom, we disagree on things. We've got lineups. We've had people where it's like 13 people are available. The boys will fully understand where I'm coming from. I'm shit at giving bad news. Okay, so like I know, and it happens a lot. But I speak to Darren, I speak to Griff, I speak to Ryan. They go, how do we approach this? And 9 times out of 10, it's just having someone to speak through a decision, because it is hard to drop someone or say, look, mate, you're not playing tonight, but we're putting the club first, kind of thing. So
isn't that just Ryan jumping up in the corner going, let me do it, let me do it, let me do it?
We all know Ryan doesn't give a shit. He doesn't give a shit what, he's a lovely, lovely bloke, right? But he doesn't care if he hurts your feelings. If it's for the great of good of the club, he will do it. And there's times where, and I'm sure Darren and Ryan will agree on the mic, me and Ryan have been at each other's throats sometimes, absolutely going at it.
Yeah.
And there's been nights where I've gone, he's a fucking cunt. And I'm sure it's the other way around as well. But at the end of the day, it's because we're all so passionate about it. And that is why we get to where we are. And Ryan and I went, right, we've got to have Griff. We've got to have Darren in this boardroom, because at the end of the day, we will disagree. And it's better to have more than just 2 people, because you have 2 people who disagree, you're not going to go anywhere. So to have people so established in the club and people who care so much, it just brings a complete balance. There's 4 identities in the boardroom. We all bring our own little thing. So if there's any advice I give to a novice club that's trying to chase rank, create a boardroom and go and have an honest chat. There's times where Griff has had an evening where he's only scored 15 instead of 16 goals. And he's like, oh, fuck's sake, I could have scored that extra one. Or there's one where Darren scored a hat-trick, but he's missed a sitter. And he's just focusing on that one sitter that he's missed and not the fact that he's just won a game 3-2 from a hat-trick. It's about having those people around you to just go, do you know what? You're really fucking good. And remember that as well. So that's kind of where I'm getting from. I'm waffling now, but I just really want to share this next bit. There's a part of our journey where we got to top 25 last year, where the togetherness of having a boardroom, the togetherness of bringing everybody together, your Berties, your Mitches, where, by the way, shout out to them too, when they joined our club, just went to another level, and they are incredible players. We managed to get top 22. It's just fantastic. And I just really want to get kind of Griff and Darren on that journey last year with how intense it was. There was really late nights with playoffs some nights, and we played a lot of nights where we had to put our own personal lives to one side, for the club. We faced teams like Brain FC twice. We've played Croydon Rovers a few times. Would you say that that's the best moment for the club? Is there a moment that you can think of on our journey, whatever year of FC it's been, where you've gone, that's the pinnacle of the game? Okay, was it a match? Was it a rank? What moment can you go, right, that is my favourite part of being in this club?
See, I don't think it's a one specific moment, because I still remember when we didn't have a lot of bodies on, and I don't think Ryan was playing at the time, but we were going for elite and crossing the ball in, and you scoring an overheader in like the 92nd minute when we were already 1-0 down in the game with 10 minutes to go, and you score the winner with an overhead kick for elite in the 92nd minute or something, Tom. I remember moments like that, and I remember the moments of when, as you said, Brain FC, Croydon Rovers, numerous friendlies against the Don City Lions and whoever else they were.
We folded that club.
Fair enough, right? If it was Malta or whatever it was, but we played like the Malta's like qualifying champions or something, did we not? And they backed out because we were like 4-5-0 up in the 60th minute. They threw the white flag in and said that we're done. Like, there is moments in this club where you just go, we fucking did that. Like, not many people can say that. And I think that's what it is. I don't think there's a specific moment for me. It's more just like a collective of things.
Yeah.
And it's more like we're always trying to one-up it. So when you do beat a big team, you're like, that's a scalp for the team.
Yeah.
And it's moving on from there. And then obviously when you get to the pinnacle of top 25, you're like, fuck, like this was, we were going for like top 1,000 at one point, then it was top 500, and then a couple of sessions, and we're like, we're top 25, boys. Like, what happened? Like, you know what I mean?
How did you get up there?
Exactly.
Darren, let me ask you this then. Like, forget rankings. Teams are made up. The rankings are kind of a bit silly in a team sport, but team rankings make sense. What does it feel like to look at yourself and say, I'm one of the top 250 players in the world right now for pro clubs?
So for me, and I've always said this, it's not what I've done for the club. It's more, I am so glad we fucking won. I don't care if I score no goals and have no assists, but if we win every game, I'm going to be the best guy you'll ever see and talk to. Like, that's why when I played midfield, I said to you, Tom, I don't know how many times, I just love that last minute tackle or stopping someone from getting down a certain side where they have to rethink their game plan. So it's not how I feel for being maybe a high ranked player, but for the club being that high rank, it's a privilege, it's a prestige sort of thing. And like that as well, as much as maybe the VFL and VGC or whatever they want to call themselves, so like all these leagues, they might not have teams that are high up in the ranks because they play these games all the time, but they are big scalps as well. So when we do push them to the side, not saying it's easy, but when we do it, it's like, right, remember us because we've done it.
100%.
So, and then Griff, as a man with ice in his veins, who's like just always top of the goal scoring charts, always gets the highest rating because goals count and defending don't mean shit, no matter how many times I've played the ball. I'm not going to get into match ratings. I'm not. But yeah, you're top of the match ratings. You've scored the most goals. You've had Miss World twice. You've won European Footballer of the Year. What's left for you? You know, does it matter to you to be in that bracket of like elite strikers?
Yeah, it goes back to what Darren said. It's a team game, and I wouldn't be able to score these goals and help the team as much as I hope I can without Ryan or Tom or Daz, those people around. And it starts with the foundation of just having those great players around you. If I was to play for a random other team with people I've never met, and it wouldn't be the same. I wouldn't be scoring as many goals. It's just because I've got that whole cohesion as a team, as a unit, and it's definitely rewarding. And hitting that top 25 or hitting 22 or wherever we got was, for me, the highlight of the year. And going, 120 games unbeaten as well. That's pretty impressive, right? It's not many people can say they've done that on pro clubs. Those are probably the top two for me. And without the team, it's impossible.
And I think that just underlines why the club is so successful, because in every drop-in game, in every game I've played with you guys, I've yet to face someone who causes the problems or scores the goals that you do. So if you can have that mentality, then that sets an example to everybody else of just like, well, this is my mentality, and not saying, but in terms of like the back page, it's a picture of you, and I'm in the background doing this. If you've got that mentality, if then Griff has that mentality, if then Ryan has that mentality, Tom has that mentality, all of a sudden it's like Mitch, Bertie, you have this the club is bigger than us. And I think that to anyone starting a club, if you have superstars in your club who think that they're bigger than the club, let them go and be bigger than the club.
Get rich.
Because they'll go and have
We've done it
a
before,
great
boys.
time. Yeah, it's better to cut off 3 people who think they're the best and bring in 3 people who want to try.
Yeah.
Because it's 11 men on the 10. Sorry, I keep on saying 11, but like it's 10 outfield players on the pitch, and everybody needs to play for each other. And really, that's why I wanted to ask those questions, because I wasn't expecting you to say like, "Oh yeah, it's great," and I have this accolade and that. I was really expecting you to be like, "Well, it's a team game," because that is the how can I say this? That is the sort of like the surface layer presentation of EFSA friendlies. Oh, we're all teammates and we help each other and it's great and it's this. And then when you get into a team situation, gets into it, all of a sudden you've got like a mini dictator, you've got people who give criticism but can't take it. And it's like, oh, wait a minute, this isn't real. But with this club, it is to the core that it is the team first. And I just want to compliment you guys on that, because it's very difficult not to have an ego about how you've played. When we played Brain FC, they had that striker, and you're like, oh, he's the trouble man. And I fucking marched him up and down the pitch. And then after that game, I felt really confident. Next game, he just walked away from me and was building up play. And I was like, what do I do? And I had a fucking dog. And that taught me there and then, like, you can't live off your last game, and you can't expect people to play the same way. And that was a real wake up call, that game. And I think that realigned my chakra mentality back to where it was before we played that first game against Brain, where it was like, this guy's the danger man, and it's like, I did my bit, and it felt really, really good. And then the next game, it was like, well, you kind of fucked you. It was hard to watch, bro. Like, you didn't use any lube, you didn't take me out for a drink.
Raw
like,
dog in the dog.
Yeah, no reach around. Just yeah, for his pleasure.
I agree with what you're saying there. Clubs is a very humbling experience. As you said, we can beat Brain FC, or we can beat another team, 3-4-0, and then all of a sudden you play them again, and it's a completely different game plan. And I think being a team now where obviously when we log on and we can see a team that we're playing, straight away we go, right, have we played these before? Most of the time it's like, yeah, we probably have, because of the time of night that we play. And second of all, we use the app Pro Clubs Head when it works, and we can kind of do our research into how other teams play. And I can guarantee it, if any other team uses that, it will help elevate their game. Last year we looked at it and went, before we even played the game, you knew what people's conversion rates were for the other team, who was the danger man, how many passes people would do. And having that intel is incredible, because and I can guarantee that if other teams were to use that, they would have that upper hand, kind of like whenever the app does work, we have that, and that certainly helped us in the playoff run. I genuinely do believe, now that we're an established club, people like Darren, people like Ryan, people like Griff, people will be marking them so much more. Go on, Doc.
It would have been nice. It would have been nice, wouldn't it? How many goals did they score from corners? Did they have tall strikers?
Yeah.
What should I make my play? With that information would have been absolutely brilliant. And I'm really glad that you've informed people about that. Thank you.
Use it going forward. Use it going forward. But no, it's all these kind of small margins that make up those wins. And as the boys have alluded to, it means more winning for this club. Speaking from a personal point of view, I started the club with Ryan. It was just us two, and then we played a few sessions. And then Darren, as he said, he nobody spoke in that Pro Clubs channel, and it was like, so boys, anyone want a game? And then all of a sudden there was a 3, and then all of a sudden, Gav goes, right, I'll play it. I'm the right mid. I'll go as a 4. And then we're like, boys, we need some more players. And then Griff, where did was it Facebook?
Yeah, it was Facebook.
I found
In some,
Griff on Facebook. You find people from everywhere, and it's those little interactions where you go, if Griff never commented or if I never put a post up, none of this would have happened. It's like it's such a strange scenario of going, look where we are now, and it started off from just a random night where Darren's popped in and gone, oh, I fancy some clubs, and look where we are now. It's like you cannot plan for these things, so you've just got to roll with it, and the pace that we work at, again, having a boardroom really, really does help with those kinds of things.
Like you were saying as well, sorry to interrupt, but it's a journey as well, because that was what, 2 FIFAs ago?
Yeah.
And we're playing with 2, 3, 4, 5 people to now where, as you've said, it's like 15, 16 people of a squad that you get to pick from.
Yeah.
And it's difficult because you've got 2, 3 people who can play one position as the other. So you're then trying to pick who's available, who's the best one for that. If we need to swap people out during the games, or not during the games, after the games and stuff. And now from where we are as well, being in the last FIFA and we've been top 22, that's the journey. And that's, as you were saying about other clubs when they're starting, take it as that. Don't think, well, we're going to be great in a month. No, that's not how it works. You need to put the effort in, the dedication, and like that, create that team mentality and winning mentality and boardroom for the people you trust, where you can then make those decisions down the line.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's the blueprint.
Yes,
it's the blueprint, and that's the blueprint that has been taken into the Friendzy Blitz. Like you were saying, it's like almost like Red Bull with their multiple, different franchises, different clubs around the world. As more and more people want to play, like I said to Gav the other day, like you could end up in a situation where it's like, well, we're going to play, but you lads could play Rush together, and you could have 14 people all playing. I don't know about the sub scenario. I don't know whether you can bring on subs now. Is it no?
I don't think you can. Are we right in saying that, boys? We still can't make subs?
I don't think we've tried it. I think when we did try it, that someone joined when we were already searching for the game, so it didn't really count.
Yeah.
So if they're there before we search for the game, it might be a possibility.
That's a game changer, though.
Again,
one thing I would say is probably from our experience of playing against people, we haven't seen anyone bring on a substitute at any point.
No.
So it's probably unlikely that there's any function of that. I don't know if it was just a rumour or it was mentioned. I'm not sure, but yeah, before the FIFA came out or FC, people were talking about that a lot. But it'd be interesting if they did introduce it.
100%.
Yeah, it would be. It would be because it'd be like you were saying about a target man. If you had somebody on the bench who you might come up against a team and be like, we could really do with like they're midgets at centre back. We could really do with a big man. And if you have one on the bench, then great. If you get to the last 20 minutes and you have somebody that you're totally confident is going to come on and do their job, you can be like, man, I am done. I've got like 3 stamina. I've got to go. Like that would be fantastic. But I also think that not having subs makes it even more intense because you've got to deal the hand you're dealt.
Yeah.
Like if you're coming up against a 5-6, I mean, this is just my own experience. So it's just to friends of the show. I have you can do 2 things. You can either watch the game and be a terrible defender, right? Or you can have this thing called a lock to camera, which locks to your pro. Now, unfortunately, you can only see a third of the pitch. So I don't know what happens up front, but I know from my position that when I'm trying to defend or I'm trying to get a job done, having to be like this 5-6 striker, you got to deal with him. The other night we were playing for Blitz. I've got a 6-2 progressor. And it was like, oh dear, I cannot handle this guy. He's too big, he's too strong, his jumping's too good. Like, I've really got to work on body position. And it became body position of like barging into people and trying to catch the ball on the chest. And it was like, without the substitutes, you deal what you've got to do with what's in front of you. And I think that creates that is where the need for tactical diversity in a game comes in. And I think being open to tactical diversity as well, like obviously as a I'm vocal. Guys, I'm vocal. I will tell. I will give anybody shit on in the defense if they're not in the right position. But like when we were talking about width, and it was like, well, if we come in as a 3 and Bertie pushes on, we'll have width. And then all of a sudden we were scoring goals. And it was like, thank you for being open to letting somebody who's only played maybe 15, 20 games make a suggestion like that. Because I'll be honest with you, probably 99 times out of 100, nobody wants to hear from the new guy. They just want you to
Well,
shut up and do your job.
as we said, there's no ego in the team. You know, we've had Biro come in, and it was after one game we drew 0-0, and he had identified something straight away, and we put that into practice. I think the next game we still drew 0-0 again, but then after that, the goals were just flowing. You know, and as I said, there's no ego there. We are there to work for each other. As we've all said this whole podcast, we work for the team. We do what's best for the team. And it's very much, you know, we've had characters that have joined us throughout the journey. Again, that is a key word. The journey of the whole process is not just one FIFA. We've had people come, we've had people go. We've had people who, again, think they are bigger than the club, you know, and they have gone on.
Time.
Yeah, that's an inside joke. But yeah, and they have moved on to other clubs, and hopefully they're successful. But obviously,
Hopefully we see them one day.
and when we do, Griff, we know what we're going to do, don't we? We know what we're going
Absolutely.
to do. So whether they're joining other teams that are next to us in the world ranks, you know, I know that one guy, Mr. Time, did join another team close to us in the ranks, but we will absolutely smash them when we play them. And kind of, you know, in the words of Gav, you know, in the words of Gav, together we rise, together we fly. We will take over world ranks, and my personal target is to go one more, break that top 20, break that top 15, break that top 10. That's what I want this year, is top 10, but it's going to take a lot of time. It's going to take a lot of cohesion, and having people join the club like Biro the other day, so very, very welcome to him, to the club as well, but also having your Mitches, having your Berties, but having that core spine. That's something that we always talk about. Get the centre-backs working, get myself in DM, get the cam working, which Ryan, you know, we haven't spoken enough about what he does for the club as well.
Yeah.
Clutch moments that he's done, especially Brain FC. I think he scored 2 in the last 8 minutes to draw the game against them. And then obviously having the 2 boys up front, you know, so I haven't got much more to add to this now, because I can go on forever just talking about how grateful I am to all of you guys, because as you've both said, the journey is what means more. You know, we can all have these targets, but as Darren has said, as Griff has said, as you have said, Doc, you can have a really crap day. You know, there's times where we're all really stressed and we're overwhelmed, and just turning on that console just to be like, how are we, lads? And getting that 1-0 win, or that scrappy last minute crap goal that we've just done to get promotion, it means more and it brings people together. So from myself to you guys, thank you for being part of that journey as well.
No, it's a privilege, as I said. Yeah, absolutely.
Go on, please, Darren. You guys drop in whatever you want to say. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying it was an absolute privilege to be obviously a part of it all, because it starts from like that, and it grows, and like the friendship and everything else, it grows. So absolutely, if it wasn't for this, I genuinely don't know what I'd be doing with my nights. I would have to probably sit next to my missus. So yeah. I hope she doesn't
Learn
hear
a
that.
name, find out what her interests are. You know,
turns out she's pretty nice.
Tell her her haircut looks nice.
Maybe.
She didn't have one. That kind of stuff. Griff, is there anything that you wanted to add on that?
Yeah, just to second what Tom and Darren had both said about just the journey, and it's been a pleasure. And targets for this year, I think top 10 is tough but achievable. It's something that we're going to have to absolutely grind for. I think the top 5 in clubs are full of teams that play every single day. They might even have people from different time zones. One's playing in the morning, one's playing in the evening. You can't keep up with teams like that. We've all got lives, jobs, and there's only us at 8 o'clock or whenever we play. But I think the top 10, top 15, anything better than what we've done already is a massive achievement, because what we have done together has been brilliant. So, yeah.
I think when you look at the skill ranking, number of games lost, when you go onto that thing, you get a good idea of where the team's at. Especially when you go and you look at there's some teams who've played so many games and they've lost a lot of games as well. And the only reason they're where they are is because of the number of games. But when you look and see 52 games, 5 losses, and you think two of those losses were in unfortunate games where mechanics failed us, like that's a ridiculous achievement to basically lose three of the games across like 50 is ridiculous. It's a 94% win rate or 94% non-loss rate, which is crazy. And really, I was trying to think about. So we're all in the pro clubs bubble looking out. I don't think you can. I want to try and help people understand what it's like, and the way I'm going to do that is kind of related to real world football. If you look at Manchester United in the glory years, your Vidic, Ferdinand, Evras, Gary Neville's, all those people that were in that defensive line, the midfield, the attack, all of those players, there was a mentality in the club that it didn't matter who came in, like you were no one. Like you need to prove yourself within the club. These are our standards. This is where you've been playing. You need to be better than us. Otherwise, why did we sign you?
Yeah.
You know? And I think that mentality at Manchester United that is not there now, where players come into the club, there aren't legends, established winners, people like that, the pressure collapses the club. And I think that we've seen how mentality being off can crush a team. So in the same way that the the early team, the development team, kind of fell apart because of the way that it had gone through mentality and formations and all of this kind of things. Setting this is the standard. We expect you to be at this standard. It's not about skill. It's about commitment, running, working hard for the team. If you're not willing to do that, thanks for your time. Have a good day. And I think that if people sort of understand that, and then you combine that mentality with an almost Guardiola-esque, like people in positions where you can't tell Bertie to where to be when he attacks, but he knows where to be. Tom knows where to be when the ball's in a certain area of the pitch. Griff knows when to drop off. Ryan knows when to push on. There's a system in place where everyone knows their job, and because of that, when you combine the system and the system with the skill level of the nine lads that play with the mentality, you end up with a club that can only succeed because failing is just not. It's not that it's not an option. It's that if you fail, it's not because of anything you've done. It's because either they had a better opportunities or somebody made a mistake. But you're not going to tear each other apart. And you're going to look at it and go, why did that happen? And how can we stop it happening
Yeah.
again?
And
And I
that's
think
the
from
thing,
the
Doc, as
outside,
well.
that's how it is.
Sorry, Doc. And that's the thing. You kind of just spoke about. It's not so much that losing's not an option, but it's not a thought process. It's not
Yeah.
something that enters our minds when we go into a game. We know, like we locked in against Croydon Rovers, and they were 40th in the world last year, and we just went right. Okay, boys, we know we got to bring a good game, and it wasn't a case of oh God, we might lose this. It's oh God, let's bring that A game. Let's lean in, nose touching the screen, kind of concentration, kind of thing, and it's just that's something our club has developed. It's like a flick of a switch, and it's just gone lock in, boys, and all of a sudden everyone just knows what to do. Communication's massive in game in terms of giving direction and whatnot. Late on in games, driven passes along the floor. How many times I say shuffle during a match, it must piss people off. But it works, and it's about having that. But on the flip side of that, we could also play in absolute silence. And as you said, everybody knows where people would be. And that is just, a complete accomplishment across the whole club of knowing where each other are and how much we've worked together on it. So again, my kind of final thoughts on this is that like you're not going to succeed in clubs if you are looking at it from a competitive point of view without putting in a lot of grind. There's going to be so many evenings where things feel crap and like, why have I logged on? But then you have those moments where, as I said, you do click and then you get to that target that you've set and it's all worthwhile. So again, my final thoughts on this is that just put time into it if you can. If you can't, don't take it too seriously. But also, there's so many different ways that clubs can be played. There's people on the other day on Twitter giving me and Bertie abuse because they were just like, "Oh, it's not real football." But like, if you're not part of the club, you don't get it. You know,
Yeah.
you don't get it, and it's one of those situations where you only understand the importance of everything until you're in that scenario. So I can't blame people for looking in from the outside, going, "Oh, look at these guys, they're fucking knobheads. They're taking it way too seriously." But in actual fact, being part of it, you get it, and this is why I love having all of you boys here, because you just get it. So yeah, thank you again for all of that time you've put in, boys.
Yeah, I never got the esports team thing with shooters because I didn't grow up playing shooter games in a team, but I did grow up playing football as a centre back, school, five-a-side, all that kind of stuff, and it's the same. The feeling is the same. You're not athletically, exhausting yourself, but mentally, when we play for what is essentially a full game, 8 while quarter to 10, it's 95 minutes. You mentally feel like you have to be astute, you have to be sharp, mentally, and you can see some people, that in the blitz team that they've not got that stamina yet where they can just lock in for 6 7 games and just every time put in the performance, because I think that you guys have this ability to be intense for the game and then stop.
Yeah.
And then as the timer starts coming in, when you see how many people you're playing against, the lock-in starts to come, and then the kickoff comes, and if people are being chatty, somebody will say something about getting heads on or whatever, and it's there. And I think that is something that only comes from time and experience of playing the game. And as we draw the podcast to a close, because obviously we've taken so much of your time, and I'm very grateful for that, I just wanted to pose a question, and Tom, you can throw this one back at me, but I'm just going to put it out to each of you. So, Griff, um, who is the, and this is across all history of football, you can pick, who is the footballer that you are trying to emulate in your pro, in terms of your build, your style, your approach to the game? Who's that person that's in your head? This is who I'm going to be.
Yeah, well, I think there's one that people have given me, and there's one that probably I've given myself. But Haaland, I seem to be compared to quite a lot. A right-footed, non-ponytail version of Haaland. But I'd say, outside of clubs and throughout my life, it's always been Ronaldo. Has always been my idol, sporting idol, in terms of hard work, dedication, and my pro on the pitch. Although it doesn't take free kicks, but that player that can just make it happen, and that extra goal that saves the night. Sometimes it's I'd say probably Cristiano Ronaldo as a not only a pro clubs figure but an idol as well in sport.
And so to throw that one over to you, Darren. Obviously, you've taken on the Platini role in the team, where you've started off as a striker and you're slowly working your way back into a deeper lying position where you can use your ability to read the game much better. You yourself, now playing in midfield, is there a player that you're trying to emulate, whether that's with physically and in terms of play, or just in terms of how you want to play?
Because midfield has been a recent change, I wouldn't say there's something that I'm trying to emulate or anything like that, but it is more just reading the game and making sure defensively I do my work rather than offensively, because no matter who it is, whether it's me and Griff up top or if it was Griff and 40 as well as Ryan playing, there's going to be goals. So it doesn't really matter. Just give the ball to the talented people. Make sure you do all the shit behind. That's what it is. But last year, same as Griff, there was a name that was given to me and one in my head who every time I shot or passed the ball I thought I was. And the one that was given to me was Firmino, because I do all the running and the passing and the teamwork type of player. But the one in my head, I'm like, this is Larson, Henrik Larson on the ball here, curling it in, all that sort of stuff. But again, that's just just the kid in me still. Like, I still have myself on mute and commentate the match sometimes when I'm not talking to you guys, just because I'm a fucking Fruit Loop. But that's that's just the way it is. But yeah, midfield, it's a different game, and one that I need to make more focus on, to be fair, for my pro, and obviously, as you said, the type of mentality I want to be in that middle of the park.
And Tom, yourself, playing where you do, is there a player that you're trying to emulate when you go out on the pitch, either in stature or in style yourself?
Yeah, it's kind of like I play DM, but I'm not DM, if that makes sense. It's like I'll be there to cover a cross and be that middleman in between the centre halves or just in front. But I mean, the lads will tell you I run forward just as much as any other centre mid as well, you know. But then I somehow manage to get back as well. So it's like it's not a Kante role because like I can pass. Do you know what I mean? Like a Rodri type thing. Maybe I don't know. Maybe before or after the ACL, you tell me how bad I am on the night. You know. But
I had totally different player in my head. I was thinking of you more like an Owen Hargreaves type,
yeah, I
like
mean,
just incredibly mobile, good with the ball, can do everything. What
yeah.
can do everything well,
Yeah, it's a
which is
boring
what you
name as
want.
well. And again, unless you support and watched him week in week out at Liverpool, you wouldn't really appreciate everything he's done. It's like a Henderson role. It's like a sacrificial role in some senses of just going. It's just going to be up and down, and I'm going to be side to side sweeping. And I never do something incredible. It's more let's. I'm that kind of metronome player of let's get the ball, let's spray it to Darren left centre mid, or to Ryan, or a lovely ping up to Griff. It's never something sexy. It's just efficient. So that's like a Henderson role. That's what I'd probably
I think
say.
you're a combination of a few different players. I think you're that good that you could be compared to four different players probably within your role at the club. To be honest with you, whether it is
Yeah,
a Kante or a Ji Sung Park, 3 Long Park, it's
yeah,
or a Rodri, that centre mid that's just solid anchor kind of role, or the more creative side of things.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely good to have a player like that.
No, I appreciate it.
Yeah, I think you underestimate your playmaking as well from that
Wow.
position. Like, sometimes it's about like taking a what can I, the hardest thing in the game is a forward pass, and that's something you do well. Darren, what do you think?
Yeah, I was just going to say is like I feel like we're missing the most obvious one here. Like he's a captain, he plays DM, and he takes free kicks and corners and everything else. You're Stevie G when he was ending his career at Liverpool.
Yeah, the
That
Brendan
is
Rodgers
genuinely
era.
you sit in front of the back four, you spray the passes, you get forward, you get goals. Like you're the captain of the
Yeah,
club.
you're
I think
right.
that's the
Yeah,
most obvious one.
yeah. No, you're
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
should have picked up on that. Yeah. There's me
Literally,
saying
there's a
Henderson.
big hint behind him as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
You're
a
bang
clue.
on, mate. You're
Yeah,
bang on. That he really is that kind of player. Like you can depend on him. Like it's like you never. It's like 7.5 every game.
I'll
Like
take that.
that's
I'll
your
take that
worst.
every day.
That's your
Every day,
worst
mate.
rating.
Yeah.
That's it. And I'm not talking about the shit rating they give you in the game. Like for doing your job, covering your man. Tell me I'm out of position.
Yeah.
Sorry. Um,
But go on then, Doc. Let's end it with yours. Let's end it with yours. Who do you see yourself? Because the first person I think of is just like Yap Stam, just like you just chuck your head, you're like a salmon in the air. You just literally just go boink, you're on it straight away. You know.
do you know what? It's like in my head, I like to think that I'm some sort of languid sweeper who can just sort of stroll up the pitch and just ping it 30, 40 yards and make it perfectly. But like, I think that because of my own game being more of a reader of the game instead of like a an atom kind of player, I think probably like I feel like I'm more and more playing like I'm aiming for Chiellini. I'm aiming for that like dependable, wins at everything in the air and can pass the ball 10 yards. Like if I can be that and be dependable, that would be my goal as a centre back would be to like just be reliable. Like I don't that's all I really want to be. I don't want to be noticed in a game. Like I just want to clean sheet. If somebody does me with a trick, fair play. Like there's not a lot I can do about that. But yeah, I just aim for that, I think, and I guess that's why he kind of looks like he does. You know, I mean, I was going to say he kind of looks like a more beautiful version of me, but he's an ugly pro, so. You know,
You got it right, mate. You got it right.
so, gentlemen, it has been an absolute privilege to have you come and spend 2 hours of your time with us to talk about your passion, my latest passion, and what really is more than a club. It's a community. You gentlemen are the backbone of that community. You are the standard bearers. You are fiercely defendant of teammates. You know, if people say something that sounds a bit off, like it's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Nah, mate, you're wrong. You know, and I think that's really important. And I think that if people in the club can't take criticism, they won't last long.
Yeah.
And that's not to say the club's like some sort of horrible, like tough place. It's not. It's friendly, man. Like
It's
it
honest.
really is. It's just honesty, and that honesty on the pitch will find itself in the Discord. And in a world full of fake online people, it's hard to fake being whoever you are on pro clubs 24/7. And I think that that's the beauty of pro clubs is that we sit there and we essentially play a single player game where it's us against the screen. Nobody has comms on. Nobody's talking to another person. It might as well be a really good AI that knows glitches in the game. When it comes to pro clubs, you are the game, and I think that's the difference. And I think that's why it means so much to win and lose as a team. And I think that you gentlemen and Ryan and Gav are a reason why throughout the Friendzy banner there's a mentality that is going to lead to success. And I think you should be proud of yourselves. And I think you should look at it as a huge achievement because I've not been involved in a sports team where there's so much accountability. And I think that is a very special thing. And I don't know if you guys know how special it is having organically grown within it as somebody coming from the outside and coming in. Teams aren't like this. They're prima donna, they're antagonistic, they're looking to lay blame. And in this club, it's not blame, it's responsibility. It's not stop fucking up, it's don't make that mistake again. And I think that those are all criticism we can all take. And I think that's what makes, like I said, is it Messon Club or Mescayon Club, which is Barca's thing? I think that is what Friendzy is. It's more than a club.
Absolutely.
So if you want to take us out, Tom, on sort of your feelings for the club now, your hopes for the future, and really anything else you want to add.
Yeah, just another opportunity just to thank you boys for taking the time to speak about clubs. We've never actually had a podcast episode where it's been solely on clubs. And I think you'll agree, Doc, there's no surprise that I think this is going to be our longest ever episode of the podcast because we've had so much to say.
Yeah.
I could do a part two. I could keep going.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Tom, but like you don't. It's like finding oh god, it sounds terrible. It's like finding a city underneath London full of like functioning people in society. It's like I didn't know this existed. And all of a sudden my Twitter feed's full of people looking for teams and VPG and what's the best centre back build and what's the best wide midfielder build and I'm going to watch this video and I'm going to watch this game and I'm going to see how they play and like it's just I think as somebody fresh to it, I had no idea how huge it was.
It's massive.
You know, if you think if there's 8 million transfers on the market in Ultimate Team, and there's people have got 20 items listed, that's as many players as pro clubs.
Yeah, exactly. It's nothing.
That's the truth.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
Yeah, 100%.
To think that there's 500,000 people coming together to play, and from that 500,000 people, you've probably got 100,000 clubs.
Yeah.
You know, which is insane. So I'm hoping this podcast, from the clips, from everything we do, will help people know that foot's fun, but having something else to go to that is still football kind of makes the shitty bits of foot tolerable.
100%.
Because you've got something every week that's going to be good.
Yeah.
But yeah, please, Tom, carry on.
No,
Sorry to
absolutely.
interrupt you.
And just to build on that as well, you're speaking about how many clubs there are and how unique this one is. If after hearing this podcast, someone does feel like they should dip their toes in it, 100% just do it. Just dive into it, whether that's a drop-ins or whatnot. I know that's not always the best fair reflection of the game mode. If you do come across this podcast, if you do come across any of our Twitter feeds, Instagram, TikTok, give us a message. Come and join us. You know, we take it very, very seriously, but also we've got Friendzy Blitz, which has just started with yourself, Gav, and Steve running that club as well.
Yeah.
Give us a message, give it a go, you know, and if you do need to find your pocket of where you feel like you might belong in a community, give ours a go. You know, you will find us, you know, Doc, obviously the Foot Clinic on Twitter. You got myself, EAFC Friendzy on there as well. And obviously you can interact with all of us guys. You know, there's more than just myself running the Twitter page. There's Ryan as well. You can interact with Darren. You can interact with Griff. You can interact with all of us. So please do give us a message if you do see us. If you want to have a game, if you want to get taught how you can get spanked, you know, come and invite us to a game. We'll do that happily. We'll unleash Griff and Darren on you. You know, all jokes aside, you know, just thank you again to everyone for putting your time into it. Thank you to the listeners who are hopefully going to tune in and give us some ratings on Spotify as well, because that always does help. It is nice to speak to Doc and hear how well the podcast is starting to do now and how that's growing as well. Just thank you to everyone.
Can I just put one last thing out there? Now, this is a very emotional, personal message. I was very fortunate enough to have a very intimate night with the striker for Brain FC. I was with him. I followed him everywhere, inside him, licked his ear, but he doesn't write back. Now, if you're hearing this podcast, get wrecked.
You know what?
But write me.
Doc,
We had such an intimate moment.
mate, we follow
Why
each other
won't you
on
write me?
TikTok. I've got access to him. I'm sending this to him.
Oh, great.
And when we
Good.
play him, we will deliver the goods once more.
He can write me. Like, he'll just do what he did last time and run away.
Yeah.
He can't handle Mongo St. Clair.
Yeah. Or when he's next live on Twitch, we'll unleash Darren and Griff to take the piss in the chat as well. You know.
He can't handle that 210 pound 6'5" centre back, mate. He couldn't do it.
No.
He couldn't do it. He had to run away. And on that note, gentlemen, thank you. We're going to put this in the episode when we put this on YouTube. We'll put it in there as well. But do you guys have social media handles where you want people to reach you at? If you don't want people to reach out for you, don't tell us. It'll be fine. But if you do, just let us know now. So, for example, Griff, if people wanted to reach out to you on Twitter, if people wanted to see your goals and things like that, if you post them, you should post them. Sound like Trump, then. Great goals, great player. I know him personally. He's a great guy. Scores lots of goals. Consistent. Legal. No. Where can people catch you?
Yeah, so anything goals, they'll be on the Friendzy, EFC Friendzy TikTok, and then for anything on my Twitter, it's JXHK_. And it'll be the one that says Griff on it.
Perfect. And Darren, if people want to reach out to you, if there's any of them horrible fucking Rangers fans,
come ahead.
I hate Rangers. I do. And I'm
It's a
raised
long
Catholic.
list of people
I
that
hate
do it.
Rangers. I do. But my reason for hating Rangers is because they came to Manchester and they just fucking destroyed it.
Yeah. They also
Literally.
lost as
No,
well.
they did.
Something they always do.
The screen went down with 20 minutes to go and they wrecked the city centre.
Yeah.
And then when all the rioting happened, all the Mancunians jumped in and were like, "Hey, free stuff." But yeah, if people want to reach out and get advice or talk to you, where can they reach you? But whatever it is,
Same again
Twitch,
as what
TikTok,
Griff said.
anything.
There's see the videos and stuff on TikTok, everything that obviously we're doing and pushing on that as well. Try and grow that page. Twitter handle as well for EAFC Friendzy, same as what Tom says there. A lot of the stuff for the club's on there. Individually, if you do want to reach out for anything at all, my Twitter handle is just Darren Adam1. It's fairly straightforward. Can't go wrong.
Perfection. And as you know, it's EAFC Frenzy 2806.
That's it, mate. That's where you'll find
Oh, I got it right. Right. And you can find me at Dr. Foot PhD. And thank you for taking the time to listen to us. And thank you for taking the time to learn about the club. And I hope that this has inspired you to log out of Ultimate Team, log into pro clubs, use those AXP tokens to get your character to level 25. And then you don't have to stress about, oh, I haven't got this play style or that play style, and just have some fun. Because if this game can't be fun, then why are you playing it? And I think that's the main thing I would go out on. Thank you, gentlemen, and I wish every friend of the show a good night. Bye bye, everyone.
Have a good one.